What's up, baseball friends? Thanks for being here. It takes a lot for me to turn off a baseball game when it is snowing outside, but your 2025 Minnesota Twins inspired such action today. Bailey Ober, as you see here, had a horrible start, but we talk about the whole system here, so let's kick it off with the minor leagues. Oh, dang it! I can't hide behind the minors today. Shoot. For the second straight day, the Saints were postponed, and of course, none of the other affiliates are quite started yet. So no minor league action today, so we got nowhere to hide. Nowhere to hide on this one. Yes, had to break out the old tube TV again because I got the man on my back, already catching the attention of the MLB advanced media bots this season, so we'll see if we can get him off our tail. Anyway, Bailey Ober, nightmare start, gives up 2 3-run home runs, gives up 8 earned runs altogether in this start in St. Louis. Not that the lineup looked good either, but man, this obviously gave them no hope. Ober, terrible outing. We'll take a look at some of his numbers in just a moment, but ouch. This is not what we wanted to see in the third game of the season. Brought back a lot of bad memories of his start at Kansas City last year. 2 2/3 innings, 8 earned runs. Walks 3 guys, too. Like, we've seen Bailey Ober have bad games, but this was maybe the worst command I've ever seen from Bailey Ober. And he walked 3 guys in 2 2/3 innings. That's insane for Bailey Ober. Willie Castro, off to a really good start. It's a terrible start for the Twins. So it's hard to really hold on to any kind of positivity. But Willie Castro, if you're looking for somebody to be excited about, he's been awesome. Matt Wallner hit a ball real hard and drew a walk today. Byron Buxton had a run-scoring hit, but it was another bad day for the lineup. Randy Dobnak, he deserves a salute. Randy Dobnak covered the final 5 1/3 innings, so only Bailey Ober and Randy Dobnak pitched in this game. Dobnak deserves a call-out. Bailey Ober, taking a look under the hood a little bit. Command was absolutely awful. Again, maybe the worst I've seen from Bailey Ober, but his velo is also down. His velo was down at his final spring game as well, so this is definitely worth monitoring. We want to keep an eye on this, but we've seen him be successful still with his velo a bit down because his command is so good, and he does have so many different looks that he can turn to. So I don't think we can just blame this for his poor start, but this is definitely not encouraging. And, again, we'll keep an eye on it. Noted above that Ober also gave up 8 earned runs in his start. First start of last year at Kansas City, if you remember that one. Bailey Ober, not good. Carlos Correa, also not good. 0 for 3 with a walk today. That means he's 0 for 11 on the season with 2 strikeouts. I did want to call out, though, that he already has 4 balls that he's hit in excess of 100 miles per hour. Nothing to show for it, obviously, so that sucks, but it took him 6 games to get to that mark last year. It took him 2 games this year, took him 6 games last year. So he has been hitting the ball, lots of weak contact today. All 3 of his balls put in play today were weak contact, but Thursday and Saturday hit the ball real hard. I'm not concerned about Correa long-term. In terms of production, we've seen this. We've seen this from the Twins. We've seen this from Carlos Correa before. They were going to lose a series. They were going to get swept in a series. Carlos Correa was going to have a point at some time this year that he's going to go 0 for 11. It really sucks that it opens the year in both cases. And Carlos Correa being the guy on this team, obviously the highest paid player, the biggest marquee guy, the guy with rings, with this team in a situation that they really need to take a step forward. Carlos Correa coming out and having this be what he provides in terms of production is really terrible. And then, he didn't even play well in the field either. Made a couple plays that let balls get out of the infield and let guys advance. And then those guys later scored in large part because of what he did on those plays. Not today, but I'm talking about one in Thursday, one in Saturday's game. So I think I think all the guys are pressing. I think all the guys are pressing already, and that is not a good sign. Twins open up 0-3. Let's talk a little bit. We're gonna do both sides. Let's talk a little bit about some recent teams that have started off poorly. And we're not going to talk about last year's Twins team, but they could be the first place we'd go because that team, they were 2-1 to start the year. They actually won that series at Kansas City. The only loss they had in that series was Ober's awful start. But, of course, They were really bad their first 20 or so games and then got it going. But another team that started off bad was Houston last year. They ended up winning their division, won 88 games. They were 0-4 versus the Yankees. They had a 4-game series at home against the Yankees. They lost all the games. They were 4-11 through their first 15 games and 12-24 on May 8th, which was the fourth worst record in baseball, excuse me. So they were down there with like the Marlins and the White Sox and just yuck on May 8th. And then from that point on, they went 76-49, a 98 win pace to win their division. So, if you're looking for some optimism outside of just, the Twins managed to turn their season around last year. The Houston Astros last year are a team to throw out there. Now, maybe it's apples to oranges a bit because, two different organizations, a little bit different situations. I do think last year's Astros team too was going through some changes. They had a new manager last year, so maybe that's another reason you could say that things didn't click right away. But just wanted to throw that out there. But again, we're going to do both sides of the coin. We'll go to the negative side too. The 2016 Minnesota Twins. This was the last time the Twins started out 0-3, lost 103 games. But that team, of course, was 0-9 eventually. But they started 0-3. You don't get to 0-9 without being at 0-3 first. And they had 2 walk-off losses. That team was 10-30 through their first 40 games. They did eventually show some things. They had a winning month in July, 15-11. I don't think that was a 103 loss talent team. And I think there's some good reason to feel that way because they'd won 80 games the year before and after this season. So it's not like, I just think they were much better than a 103 loss team. But this stuff like this can happen. And again, they were also 10-30 over their final 40 games. Again, the Twins were going to get swept in a series. They were going to lose 3 games in a row at some point. We knew that. It doesn't necessarily mean any of this is going to carry over going forward, when they go to Chicago here and start play tomorrow. But it's undeniable that losing sucks and it breeds more losing. It's really hard to wash the stink of losing off of you. And I think that was really a big story of the 2016 Twins. Again, I don't think they were a 103 loss team, but stuff can just get carried away. September doesn't matter unless you let it matter. That was last year. That was last year's team. It was a different group of guys, different circumstances. Certain guys were healthy, certain guys weren't, that aren't here now. We're turning a new page. You can look at September and say that doesn't matter unless you let it matter. Same thing with an 0-3 start. It's only 3 games, not a big deal. It's not like you've mathematically eliminated yourself from contention the first weekend of the season or something. It doesn't matter unless you let it. So this team really needs to not let this matter. So Twins lose 9-2, ugly game and an ugly first series. Nobody else played today. The other minor league affiliates not quite up and running yet. Saints will be off tomorrow on Monday. That's usual for them. And then they go to Columbus. So hopefully them getting out of Minnesota will allow them to play some games. Twins again going to Chicago to play the White Sox Monday afternoon, Tuesday evening, and then Wednesday afternoon, and then hosting Houston at 3:10 on Thursday for the home opener, and then they will be off Friday as long as everything goes to schedule. Thanks so much for checking this one out. I appreciate you. We'll talk again soon.